Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and talk about Zhongli and artifact builds for Zhongli, and giving you the most potential damage that you can do with multiple different character builds. We'll be going over different styles of playing this character, going at level 80, level 60, whatever it may be, and giving you the best experiences based upon all the math that I did for this unit. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So for Zhongli's artifacts, on every single set, no matter how you're going to build him, whether you build him with a Nobelesse set, Gladiator set, whatever it may be, the substats you're going to want on your artifacts are going to be attack percentage, crit chance, crit damage, and HP percentage. The reason those are very, very important is because they're going to boost your overall damage on your kit very, very heavily. The ones you kind of want to stay away from are Elemental Mastery, flat HP, a flat attack, etc. Those are not nearly as good as the other stats that you can get for your sub stats. For the overall main stat, for of course the plume and the feathers, no difference there. You're not going to have any issues. For the timepiece, however, it is kind of a weird thing. You can actually go with either an attack percentage piece or an HP percentage piece, and they're going to give you a very similar amount of damage. Okay, so right now we currently have an HP piece, and we just have the 2-piece Nobelesse. Current stat value 27% crit rate, 59 crit damage, and we are at 45% geo. Elemental Mastery does not matter. Alt. We hit for 16,000 on this line. All right, I've now switched the artifact with a legendary plus 16. I know it's higher, but whatever, because I don't have another one. So I'll have to do this one, because that's the only thing I have. So that means difference at 17,954 attack, HP, 27% here and here. Now for the goblet, you're going to either want a physical damage piece if you're going to be building a physical Zhongli, or you're going to want a geo damage piece depending on if you're building support. And finally for the headpiece, you're going to want either crit rate or crit damage based upon what you're going to need for your kit. You want at least a 40% crit chance and 100% crit damage on this character, so whatever you need to get above those values in order to make yourself a very powerful character. So my ending build for Zhongli, which is probably going to have to stick with for a while until you get a really good Geo Goblet, is going to be this piece right here with the Geo piece with these rolls here. And then, of course, I have this attack piece for a Brave set and giving these rolls here. My plume right here, or my flower right here, has a plus 20% with HP rolls, attack rolls, C damage, and energy recharge. My flower is going to be crit damage, elemental mastery, crit rate, and HP percentage on the plume. I can switch that out for another piece that does have more HP percentage on it, I believe. No, I do not have one. And then my headpiece here is a C damage headpiece with attack, defense, crit rate, as well as HP, all evenly rolled. So it's kind of like whatever on that. But then with overall end stats, I do have 41% crit rate, 142 crit damage, which is fine. And of course, 56% geo damage, which I can get a little bit more on if I upgrade the piece. But let's go check it out. Okay, 15k non-crit. $37k crit. So I can live with that kind of damage right now. That's completely fine for me. I do not need a lot more than that when I'm using Zhongli. I'll probably get him full Nobelesse when I get another piece for him. All right. So for all these tests that we're going to be doing for Zhongli, this is going to be, I'll show you the differences between each of the builds that I'll be doing today in the video. We're having level 6 talents right now for Zhongli, for his main talents, and then his ulti talent is at level 8. For constellations, we just have C1 Zhongli, and for artifacts for the first set, we're going to be doing a full Nobelesse set, so you can see the damage difference on this. Let's go check. For the overall stats that we got right now, here's our stat page for the overall stats that we have. Okay, let's jump into it. We're going to be using No elemental resonance when we do these tests, so there's no possible way of stilting results. We will use Superconduct for physical tests and Bennett buff to see some damage differences on different things. So going in, Superconduct damage here. This is the super damage white damage. Okay. Hold E damage. Okay. Ultimate damage. 48k crit. Superconduct with Nobelesse buff. And E with that. And another ultimate. 16,000 off crit. Next build, we're going to be using the same Archaic Petro sets that we were using before, Nobelesse set we were using before. Here's the values that we had for each of the pieces for the Nobelesse set that we were running before. For the plume, we were running this plume right here. And for the feather, or the other piece, it is this one right here. This is what we're running now with the new Geo pieces added into the mix. Overall stats is going to be right here. 28% crit chance as well as 147 crit damage and 83% Geo damage. Let's go check it out. Okay. Alright, damage with Superconduct. E damage for the pulsates. Hold E damage. Ultimates. 17k. Ultimate. 17. Ultimate. 42k crit. Build, we're doing a physical build with 34% crit chance as well as 129 crit damage with a 58% phys damage bonus. We're going to be doing it with 1800 attack, a total overall of 25,000 HP. Artifacts wise, we're going to be using a full Gladiator set with a Phys cup. Here are my artifacts right now for the piece here. There's some HP rolled stuff here. We have the attack stuff here. Phys damage on this goblet, and finally crit damage on the headpiece with some HP rolls. Check it out. Superconduct's up. There's the autos. Got stuck in. I got stuck. There's the ultimate. 27,000 crit. And non-crit is 11,000. We're switching out the plume that we had earlier for a different plume here with the bloodstained plume. Artifact rise. We have 24% crit chance right now, so we need to boost our crit chance a little bit further. We're using a crit chance headpiece. So now we'll... Okay. So for artifacts now, we're switching out to 48% crit chance as well as 88% crit damage, and using it with 83% phys damage. Switch it out. Superconduct's up, doing damage. still haven't crit the ulti. Last set I don't have, but I want to test at some point, was going to be a retracing Bolide set. Unfortunately, the Bolide set is the only set I don't have built right now. So normal and charge attacks on this will be boosted by 40%. So I think this will be the overall best set for normal attack damage based on everything we've seen. You can kind of see that the full Gladiator set that we do have is not as good as the other sets. As other things for like increasing overall damage. The full Gladiator set, I think, will with an 18% attack boost and the 35% normal damage. The extra 10% you can clearly see boost a very significant amount in comparison to the overall white hits that we were seeing. So I can clearly see that a full Gladiator set is a better option in general than going with a, of course, attack piece percentage and then a half bloodstained set, even if you were going to be using charge attacks in the mix, because the charge attack damage that you would get isn't only boosted by a very small amount in difference. So I would say going with the full Gladiator set is a really good option. If you do want to go with a retracing Bolide set and get a full Bolide set, that would also be the best possible option in my opinion to get that last 5% on the normal and charge attacks for the overall damage. But if you do want to go with a Gladiator set, this will both improve your E's as well as your Q's a lot more than if you are going to go with the retracing Bolide set, because your E's and Q's are very, very big on damage. Unfortunately, though, what's going to happen when you go with the retracing Bolide set is you're just going to lose out, or a Gladiator set, you're losing out significantly on your E and Q damage. So as far as between the sets, though, my favorite set for him as of right now is going to be a full Nobelesse set. That is, in my opinion, the best possible set to run on Zhongli, because running a full Nobelesse set gives you the 20% boost for the rest of your team, and it gives you the best overall damage. If you're running with a half and half because you already have Nobelesse on your team, that's a really good option, and I think that would be the best possible option for you if you're going to be running with a half Nobelesse and half Archaic Petra. That is the best possible set if you already have another character on the team that is running full Nobelesse. But the amount of characters that actually do run full Nobelesse is actually kind of limited as of late, because many people that are going to be running with Zhongli are going to be using him as your support DPS and are not using a Nobelesse set on other characters on that team. So I think it's fairly safe to use a full Nobelesse set on him. As far as weapons go, right now, since I'm using a Skyward Spine, my personal opinion is that this weapon is one of the best weapons that you can use for him because it has high energy recharge rate. What that means is, of course, you're getting your ultimate up consecutively over and over and over again every single time in your rotation, and that is a very powerful thing. It also has a very high base attack value, getting it caps out at 674, I believe, to overall total attack. And the only other options that you have are the Jade Spear, which is another good option that has crit chance on the weapon, which is very good, and that is the best in-slot weapon for him for the overall modifiers for crit chance versus energy recharge rate for overall damage. But if you want to get your ultimate up on a consistent basis, I do not know how the Jade Spear works for getting your ultimate up in your rotation, but I can say that when I use the Skyward Spine, my ultimate recharge rate is ridiculously high in comparison. If you're going to go with a physical build, my recommendation, of course, is going with the Crescent Pike weapon. That is the best in-slot weapon for a physical build for pretty much every single character in the entire game. And when you use your E when time is out, anytime it pulsates, there is a particle that is generated, so that will give you elemental particles so that you can actually get that extra hit. The other reason I prefer the Skyward Spine over the Jade Spear if I was going to pick a 5-star weapon is because when you're using the Skyward Spine, you get an actual flat increase to your crit rate already innately on your weapon. And when you have a 22 or something % chance of getting a crit for the Jade Spear, you only get a small amount more on your overall damage. The fact that you actually have to ramp up on a Jade Spear doesn't really make a ton of sense, because when you put on Zhongli as a support, you're just in and out on your kit. For a physical build for Zhongli, I'd still say the Crescent Pike is the best in-slot option, just because of the particles that you're getting all the time. For 4-star weapons, the best in-slot weapon for Zhongli support is going to be the Death Match. This is going to be his best possible weapon because it is a crit rate weapon that also has an attack modifier for damage. However, not everyone wants to use their Battle Pass weapon for Zhongli, because that is a very, very expensive weapon that you're only going to get once per month, and a lot of people do not want to make that kind of commitment. So if you did not want to go with that commitment and use a different weapon instead, the Favonius Lance is a decent option, because of course you get energy recharge on the weapon, and if energy recharge on your weapon is very strong. Unfortunately, though, the other weapons that are out there for Zhongli for support are not super great, besides the besides the prototype grudge, which is the craftable weapon, but that increases your normal attack damage, and the black cliff pole, which increases critical damage. Both of these weapons are very, very good weapons, and unfortunately, since there is not another energy recharge weapon in the game, if you do get a Favonius Lance, which is pretty common for a lot of players to have, that is a good weapon for Zhongli. Not, of course, the best weapon, but you do get energy recharge rate out of it, and of course, your ultimate up very quickly. Personally, if I had purchased one last month, I would have bought a black cliff pole specifically for Zhongli, because that would be a great option to get your kills in, get a little bit more attack, and then of course rotate off. The other weapon, of course, you can get is the Royal Spear this month. This weapon, in my opinion, is a big no, because the main stat for attack, as we saw in this video, is not really that valuable. It would be much better to go with an HP percentage roll versus an attack roll in general, and crit chance in general is better. The amount of hits that you get on Zhongli can make it so that this particular substat can be okay for Zhongli, because you do get a large amount of pulsates that are coming out with a large amount of hits in general from your spear if you do use it, but I think this weapon is a big no. And as far as for whales, if you're like an Omegalodon whale and you did pull for the Vortex Vanquisher, sure, I mean, he has shields, and it works the same way as if you use the Memory of the Dust. You get a lot of attack, but you still need to then focus on getting a lot of crit chance and crit damage. It's a really big whale item, and building really heavily onto that is very difficult, because you need a large amount of crit chance, a large amount of crit damage, and all your substat rolls for your character, and HP rolls, etc. So that's going to be kind of tricky. But if you can pull it off, sure, it's worth it. Well, alright guys, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.